Hello, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to talk about tariffs. Again, I'm sorry, but for a couple of reasons. One is this is so changing so rapidly that I need to update because I've made videos about this. I feel a need to go like, wait a minute, this is what it's really like. Because we're in a very quickly changing situation. Now, usually on YouTube, I like my videos to last for years. I want you to watch a video I made 5 years ago, like, oh, that's interesting. That's the difference between this kind of coating and this kind of coating on strings, or that's how you clean the nut slot on a guitar. And that's what I wish I was doing, but somehow I'm drawn back to this. Mostly because my interest in this is that I'm in the business of selling guitars. And this is a business that I got to pay attention to. And all this tariff stuff affects me as a seller of guitars, me as a guitarist, I suppose, me and you as someone who loves guitars and may or may not work in the guitar industry. Now, we talk about guitar retail. The people working in guitar retail are really dedicated people who work for probably less than market value of what they're doing. If you're good at selling guitars, you could be great at selling real estate or whatever. But you're in the guitar business just because you like guitars. And so this tariff thing, we'll start with that, and then we'll go on to a little bit about the industry in general. So tariff changes. Yes, tariffs are on, tariffs are off, tariffs are up, tariffs are down. We still don't know what the result of this is. But when you poke the bear, you don't just say, "Hey, bear, I'm joking," So we've woken the bear of, and what is the bear in this analogy? I guess it's the bear, the balance in the market. When you have a well lubricated machine of a market, things are manufactured, things are sold to a retailer, and then But when you put disruption into a market, then you get unpredictable results. Other than the fact that you will get results, the bear may roll over and go back to sleep, or the bear might wake up. Anyway, enough wildlife. I get an email every week or two from our Fender rep who says, here's a letter from our CEO. Here's what Andy has to say about the latest news. And then the letter is like a PDF on the letterhead and stuff like that. It looks all official. And this most recent one is, yes, we have to raise prices because of tariffs. And it will be on May 1st. Buy as much as you can at the old price, which is great for Fender because they were a little overstocked, I think, and that will go away. And then they're like, new prices coming soon. And we talk about things manufactured in China. There's currently 100 and something % tariff proposed that will go into effect really, really soon. And so will it double the cost of a Squire? No, but it might add $100 to the cost of a Squire. And Fender is in an interesting situation. This is more about the market in general, or Fender and a lot of these companies are financed through private equity. They're owned by companies who get money from their investors, and they fuel this company with this money. The thing why this is significant is they don't work like a small business. They need to pay back not only that to pay back their investors, they have to make money for their investors every year. And if the books come in looking bad one year, they're like, we have to make changes. We need to get profitable now. And we need to stay profitable. And they have a mandate to do that. So they can't be like, let's just wait this out for a couple of years. We'll figure out how to, we'll hire some more people in the U.S. We'll figure out how to, change. No. There's no waiting this out. They need to make changes immediately to stay profitable. And waiting it out and see, let's see what happens, and then no. So this puts into question, and there's a lot of other companies in this industry that provide the things that we sell. If you ever heard of Jam, it's a company that owns several music distribution companies that all have their own brands, and that's for another video. But private equity wants their money. So, are we an industry in decline? Yes. So how does that affect, all these scrappy companies are like really trying to compete. Yes, we're trying to compete with these Asian manufacturers who are selling things really cheaply. But the U.S. companies, there's no appetite to make a $400 guitar in the U.S. And if they are made for that money, they're made using parts made abroad. You can't, if you sit down and make a guitar, you sit down with some trees, some wood, and some wire, and you go to make that guitar, it's going to cost thousands of dollars. That's why handmade guitars cost so much, and factory-made guitars cost so little. And the cost of operating a factory, and I'm not going to digress into that again either. But I'm trying to stay focused. Tariffs, industry changes, prices are going up no matter what anyone says. Prices on new goods. Is there enough? Because I was the one talking about there being too many used guitars on the market. Is there enough used guitar presence to offset that? On the consumer side, probably not. Will it eat up some of this excess used? Now the price of the new thing goes up, the higher priced used thing coming down a little. Will there be some kind of parity reached? I'm not hopeful for it. So I don't think this will necessarily will reverse the course of the used guitar market decline. We're one of the only businesses where the pricing, has kind of had this downward push recently. When you look at retail, there's no like clothing stores going like everyone's shopping at Goodwill. We have to lower our prices to compete with the used thing. But that's kind of happening in the guitar world because industry in decline. If you say it out loud, it just makes you feel better in general about it. I think it makes me feel a little better about that. So, silver lining. What is the silver lining? Let's dig deep for the silver lining. Will it help American manufacturers? I don't know. I'm skeptical about it. I was speaking with major American pedal manufacturer who told me recently, like, yeah, Donner, heck with I hope Donners cost 5 times more because we're sick of them, and we want to sell our stuff, our made in America stuff, and that's a part of the industry that might be able to get a silver lining. But as far as guitar manufacturers, there's no one who can make a guitar in North America that's going to cost under $1,000. Put a note in the comments if there is an all in America made instrument for less than that. I don't know of it. The Seagull guitars are the start of it. It's North America, it's Canada, so they aren't necessarily, and their prices keep creeping up little by little, and this is gonna, I'm sure these tariffs are gonna hurt our American pricing for Seagull, and I'll be sneaking across the border in order to smuggle them in from Canada. So, is the silver lining, will this bring back manufacturing to the U.S.? In this industry, not necessarily. It's just going to create disruption, and being an industry in decline, disruption is kind of the name of the game, but the results can be unpredictable. So, that was a ramble, that was a rant. Thank you for hanging out and listening to this. More videos here on YouTube, more talk about tariffs, but also some of the information in those is relevant, and some of it is based on changing information. So, but there's hundreds of videos here that I've done for YouTube, so please watch them. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and all that, and we'll talk to you soon.